Alrighty, legends, we are doing the biggest, greatest, most beautiful mountain in Australia, which is also going to be a review of the Asics METAFUJI Trail. Look at this bad girl or boy, depending on your preference. Fucking nicest looking shoe I've ever seen on the trails.
I'm jealous of how much sponge you have compared to mine.
Kelly's got the old wild horses.
I think I've had these for 6 years now.
6 years. These things
go in
are...
the bin, but I'm glad I didn't throw them in the bin because I actually need them today. I don't have any trail shoes.
Yeah,
and I'm on the lookout.
So this is what we're doing. Charlotte's Pass, 1835 meters, 23k. This is the new one, hey?
We're going from here up to here.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go around this one to come back.
Let's do it. That's great. And hopefully we are going to get, which it looks like, pretty good weather. But look at that. All out there. Like that's...
It's vast.
It's just amazing. Yeah, it is vast.
That's the word.
Vast.
Okay, running. Okay.
Right, let's run through some of the specs before we get to how it's going on the trail. So first thing, surely that you'll notice, obviously a lot underfoot, but just the apex angle, which if this is running flat, it's the angle that the rocker comes up and it's quite aggressive. And you notice that when you're running, you put more force through there and it feels a little bit easier to get over, but that rocker is quite aggressive. Feels good at quicker paces, but you just, when you're going uphill a little bit slower, it almost feels like it pushes you back a little bit. Lasers and lockdown are okay. I always heel lock as a standard. They've got this little material on the side of the lace, if you can see that. So if you do them quite tight, that generates some shear force and they, not even close to coming in. They actually be quite hard to get undone once you've done them up. But the biggest feature is the distance across this midfoot. So the smaller that distance, the more unstable it's going to be. And if you're landing on rocks, and the outer edge or the inner edge is tipping up, and you're quite high up, which you are, because there's quite a lot under there in stack, and that's quite narrow, it can make it feel a little bit unstable. And I definitely noticed that when I was running along these kind of rocks that have a little ledge. I just felt more unstable, and definitely my knee felt that. If you have a look at the toe box as well, it's quite narrow and volume wide. It's just not very deep. I've got a pretty broad forefoot and I had a bit of trouble on the outside. So anyone with a broad forefoot, broad midfoot, especially with the shape of that, probably not going to find it too comfortable. And I didn't find the upper that great. Like, I know they can't have a lot of stretch because it has to be, quite thick and durable to protect anything, out from coming in. But my foot didn't feel that good, especially towards the end of the run. So that's something they can definitely improve on. Now, I've got to give them 10 out of 10 for style. Like the look of this shoe, the laces, it looks awesome. Also got an orange, it looks pretty cool. But I reckon this is the nicest looking trail shoe that I've seen. They just need to get the overall fit, because underfoot feel, awesome. Fit of the foot, not so great and could improve on. Now, with every shoe review, remember that exactly what the reviewer says goes, and it's universal. If I say it's spongy, it means everybody that puts a shoe on, it's going to be spongy, and there's no questions asked. Now, of course, I'm kidding. We need to take these reviews with nuance, because everyone's got different movement patterns, different surfaces, different preferences. It's like saying, I like hip hop and you like jazz. Both are fine, but it's different. So running on this type of trail, it's flat, not technical at all. You can still feel as you push into it the firmness of the outer sole, which is obviously what makes a trail shoe different. But like the first 70% of your body landing and absorbing into it just feels so good, and you do get a bit of return. Definitely the fastest bounciest shoe I've run in on road, kind of road trail. I feel bad for Kelly in her worn, bottomed out Nike trails. The Fujis are good, but noticing after about 4k, the toe box is not as deep, so not as much volume in the front part of the foot as other trail shoes, which I definitely noticed. I have a broader forefoot, and then also the tapering as well, so it's a little bit more angled. I'm assuming they did that for weight, and because the outer or the upper is a bit firmer to protect rocks and things like that, don't have a lot of stretch. Say compared to the Vista from Mizuno, that upper meant you could sleep and use it as a blanket. That thing stretches so much. Geez, it's just been uphill most of the time. And now we got 4K to Mount K. But it's nice up here. It's flat. And that whole trail back down through here felt good in these shoes, running quick, just because when you're hitting the ground on the flatter stuff, it feels exactly like what a super shoe does. Obviously a little bit heavier, but if you get quicker, you feel the shoe returning a bit more. Now, what it's returning is very much up to debate. If we're getting right into the physics of it, is it physically returning energy to my muscles? Is it making them work a little bit less? Is it reducing the joint range of motion so the muscle has a better lever arm? Whatever it may be, it definitely just feels better. Could even just be perception, but shoe is good. I imagine any race that has this kind of terrain, or majority of the kind of flatter, easier to run in, this shoe is easily got to be the number one pick. We onto the summit. These fucking trail shoes not meant for this kind of rocky material, just because they're narrow through the midsole. But first 8K, they felt really good. So the last bit, let's do it.
You get your photo done? I had one before, but I do want one this way if that's alright. Yeah, we can sort that out for you. $5.
What equestrian games, eh?
So we've got this long stretch of steel metal all the way up to the top. I think we've still got about 300 meters elevation. Kelly's coming down the hill. She's on her way. But along this whole ridge, it's just open and ranges go on as far as the eye can see.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a rock bridge. That's it. 23K, 700 meters. The last hill is just straight up, worst time at the end, but good to be done. Kelly's happy to be done with that, aren't you, Kelly?
Yeah. Best run I think I've done since Berlin.
Oh yeah, didn't we know about it? What a run. Kidding.
I did.
What do we think overall, pros and cons? Pros, feels unbelievable on a stable trail. Bouncy, feels exactly like what a super shoe does, which is pretty hard to get in a trail. And the just feeling towards the end of the trail was pretty much the same, so I didn't feel like it lost anything over the course of the run, which is good. Some super shoes, you know, whatever you want to call them, they feel a bit dead after a longer session. That didn't have any of that. Cons, it's just really narrow, and that midfoot being so narrow just means frontal plane, so rolling in and rolling out, is just a lot more. And I could feel my knee, and I never really feel my knee. Comparing this to something like a Topo with a wide anatomical fit, you know, or an Ultra, you can see the difference. So knee pathologies probably wouldn't recommend. Someone that's planning to run a bit quicker on terrain that's pretty stable, that's not too technical, this shoe would be awesome for a race. And if you've got a broader forefoot, probably might struggle a bit with the shape, but for the average pretty neutral foot, I think it's going to be nice and comfortable. And if you've got a broader midfoot, it's going to be too much and you'll be hanging over the edge. But overall, pretty damn quick and pretty hard to do on a trail shoe.